men's soccer. Chase Brooks, first-year head coach, just finished out your first season here with the Purple Eagles. So one season in the books.
Yep.
How was it?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. You know, you go through your career and as an assistant, and you have so many ideas that you gain and things that you learn along the way. But until it's actually your show, you don't know what to expect. And I learned a lot this year. It was a tremendous year for the Niagara Purple Eagles men's soccer program, and it's definitely one to build on. We're looking towards the future now.
Well, 9-4-5 on this season, 4-2-3 in the MAC. When you look back over the course of the season, what was the biggest thing you took away from it? What was the biggest lesson that you learned? You
know, again, just first year, you have so many ideas. You want to throw it all into one season, and you can't. It's building blocks. This year was about teaching the team to be competitive, you know, and learning how to win on a consistent basis. And I think we were able to accomplish the competition side of things. The winning, I think, is getting better. I think you could see it in the record, 9-4-5, but we had 5 ties, games that we were right there, but just couldn't put ourselves over the top. So we still got a little ways to go, but it was definitely a good first step.
You mentioned first-year head coach, and I wonder, with all the ideas that you say you might have, do you ever second-guess yourself? Like, maybe I should put this idea in first, and maybe it's this one. How much of that went on for you?
You know, a little bit, but that's where, you know, you have a good assistant staff, you know, with you, 2 assistant coaches that, you know, you bounce ideas off of, guys that have been around, seen different things. You know, Donnie Hathorn, my first assistant, very good guy. He's been all over the place. Was last at Valparaiso University, where he learned a lot under a very good head coach there, and Mike Avery. John Futowski, who played at Niagara, was one of the best goalkeepers in Niagara history. So you learn a lot from those guys about, you know, how to do things as well. Good guys, good sounding boards. You know, that's, I think, what kind of keeps you going straight and narrow.
Part of coaching, of course, is recruiting, and you went abroad for a number of players. How does that process work?
It's interesting. You know, we get a lot of videos. I have, through my time at Dayton, I was able to establish a lot of contacts overseas. I've been overseas numerous times, and, you know, basically just made phone calls. You know, a couple of the guys on the team, Callum Wilmot from England. Callum, I actually was over while I was still working with Dayton, and I saw him there in England at a showcase. Came back, was able to bring him to Niagara, and we were very fortunate to get him. The 2 Swedish boys that we got are guys that through a contact I made while I was in Sweden recruiting. And, you know, so it's very, very helpful. My history through recruiting has been paramount to what we've been able to accomplish here with our recruiting. And definitely glad that I learned those things at Dayton. So. And
how much more, I guess, how much help will you get in recruiting based on one big event that happened? The MLS came calling for one of your players. Tell us about that, and tell us what that means.
Yeah, Carl Howarth, graduating senior, drafted by Major League Soccer, Montreal Impact. Tremendous. He's the first player in Niagara history to be drafted by Major League Soccer. And it immediately puts your team on the map. It immediately says to recruits out there that, okay, this is a program that has a chance to produce professionals. And that's big, because obviously that's everybody's dream. No matter what sport you're in, you always want to try and be that next big thing and take it beyond college into the professional ranks. And so to have Carl drafted was huge for us, and obviously very huge for him. He's thrilled by it, and we're very fortunate.
Take us inside the moment when you told the team, or when the team found out about that.
Yeah, you know, I had just gotten off the phone with one of the scouts for the Montreal Impact. We had seen the draft, but the guys were actually lifting at the time. They hadn't seen it, so they were coming over from lifting, and they were all warming up on the field, walked out there and told the guys, and I mean, just the cheers erupted. I mean, they were so happy for Carl, and then Carl came out a couple minutes later, and it was hard to actually run training that day, so they were pretty excited.
And as you look back at the season, one thing, you finished out in the MAC quarterfinals losing on penalty kicks. I mean, it's a tough way to lose, but it's part of the sport.
Definitely part of the sport. You know, I learned a lot in that game in general as a head coach. I mean, we absolutely hammered the team that we were playing, and I think we outshot them 22-11. We hit the post in overtime. Did about everything we could except get the ball in the back of the net, and that's our sport, unfortunately. You know, it's not always the best team that's going to win the game. So definitely, I think our guys learned a lot. The returners, I think, are hungry going into next year. Definitely looking forward to that and taking those lessons to next season.
Well, they call it the beautiful game, not necessarily the fair game, right?
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations on a great first season, and looking forward to season number 2.
Excellent.